What's up, y'all? Back here with another video. This one is entitled Growth Starts Within. I want to come and talk to y'all about me more personally. I think the videos I made over the year has been kind of an overview of me and not really as detailed about myself personally. So I'm gonna come to y'all today and talk to y'all about how growth starts within with me personally. I think the biggest overview of it all will be growth only matters when it comes from the internal, because the external can decline at any moment. However, the internal growth is solid in formulation. So when you are growing internally and making the proper changes day in and day out, reflecting, being aware of yourself, these kind of things help you create a solid foundation within yourself that even when things do, fall down on the external or even in the internal, when things do become a struggle, you have a solid foundation within yourself to always revert back to. And that's one of the biggest things that's helped me grow as a person, that's helped me develop as a man. Is being solid within myself and encouraging myself to keep going back to that solid foundation that I have when things do get overwhelming. So I think I'm going to start with explaining the growth in the aspect of relationships. One of the biggest relationships that had to grow within and, it show itself on the outside was with my mom. That was a big battle because growing up, she kind of had to do a lot that she wasn't really ready for. And in turn, she had to raise a boy, had to raise a boy into a man. And as a woman, that's not something you kind of know how to do, nor do you kind of think about doing when you do have your son. So our relationship had a lot of ups and downs growing up, a lot of negativity stemming within it. And that relationship really trickled down into a lot of different relationships later on. But with the essence of growth starting within, it started with me healing myself, looking at some of the wounds that I did carry over, some of the things I did remember, or the traumas that I held on to, I had to let go of. I had to rethink things and open my mind to what things actually are, and that was a big battle. But overall, I say the growth in that relationship showed itself a lot more important as I became a man, because at the age of 23 is when me and my mom sat down and actually talked about all the hurt and pain. And from that day moving forward, it helped me just open up to anybody about whatever it may be. It allowed me to be more vulnerable with not only myself but my peers, because that growth in relationships allowed me to go deep within the relationship, hold myself accountable, hold my mom accountable, and then just talk things out as adults. A lot of us don't hold ourselves accountable or seek the truth. And for that matter, we kind of struggle on what's true, or what's the reality. Where are we actually when we face things? But with me, it made me really dig a lot deeper. So that goes even into, me playing basketball. Starting off, back when I was 15 years old, I didn't think much about the game. I didn't know what to think when it came to the game of basketball. Didn't know how to feel. And I think as I started to develop feelings is when I wasn't on a team to even showcase my skill or grow as a player. I just was playing basketball as much as I could. And that kind of held me in a stagnant position for a while, because I'm just playing. But I don't really look to grow. I didn't look to get better. I didn't look to make things change until I was about 19, 20. After playing for so long, about 4 years, you kind of realize that people are way ahead of you, and that kind of hurts you in a way, especially if it's out of your control. If it wasn't like they got ahead of you because you were slacking. It was more like they got ahead of you because of the things you didn't have. And that kind of hurts. But you can either let it hurt you or let it heal you. And I let it heal me at 19, 20. So I started taking myself to the gym. I started taking myself to the court, taking long walks, dribbling with the ball in the bag, shooting same shots over and over again, out there for hours on end. And at a point in time, it didn't look like it was for any reason. I didn't really know what the reason was, but I kind of found it within myself. Again, hence the title, Growth Starts Within. I found my solid grounding as a basketball player. And that trickled into where I am now, and the repetition that I put in into continuously being the best player that I am. That helped me be the man that I am today, because I became dedicated. And in becoming dedicated, that repetition translated on a bigger scale, where now I'm dedicated to my life, to evolving. And that pushed me a lot further. But it started with writing. I think writing helped me find peace within myself, which was very hard, because in those relationships that I did have, outside of my mom, or coming into my manhood and dating, or dating to marry, those relationships, I didn't have too many boundaries, but I had peace. I found peace in writing because that was my outlet. That helped me flow naturally in everything that I did. Writing just was something I could just do, whether it was with a pen and pencil or in my notes on my phone. I was able to write so much. I'm writing out my pains. I'm writing out my thoughts. I'm writing out my dreams. I'm writing out my goals. I'm just writing. And that writing started to heal me, because now I'm writing out my prayers. Now I'm writing out the questions that I have for myself. I'm writing out the doubt that, I remind myself of. I'm writing out the happiness that I should remember, or even the statements that people say to me that I can recall later on. Like, I'm writing so much, and it helps me flow on the day-to-day. If I don't write or read something during the day, then my day really is on the decline, because I'm supposed to be writing and reading daily. Those are my, forms of peace on the external level. I can read and just fall deep into what they call a wormhole of knowledge or understanding. I just fall into it deep, where I can write the same way. When I get to writing, whether it's financial notes, whether it's emotional notes or cognitive notes to God, it doesn't matter what it's about. I flow. And I flow in that way because I learned the value of certain things in being a student. I'm not just an architecture student, but I'm a student of life. I'm learning how to live this life. I don't live it perfectly. I don't play the game of basketball perfectly. I don't wake up every day and find that same enjoyment every day. Like, some days I don't want to get up. Some days I don't want to go to the gym. Some days I don't want to work out. Some days I don't want to write. And okay, sometimes I don't do it. But I don't do that consistently. It's not consistent where I'm down on my luck, because I learned certain things in being a student. In being a student of life, you learn how to unlearn, relearn, learn in itself. You learn these things every day. Relearning is very important, because some stuff you learned the first time and you learned it wrong. Unlearning is equally as important, because some stuff you learn completely wrong and it's not anywhere near correct, but we think it's true. That's where relearning and unlearning kind of ties in, because you relearn what you once thought you knew and you learn it in the best manner. You learn it in a better manner, or you unlearn what you thought was true completely. Some stuff you got to remove from your brain. Some identities you have to rid yourself of. Some parts of your past life you may not want to even bring into your future self. Like, you don't want to remind yourself of where you used to be. And that's the strength of relearning or unlearning. Whereas learning in itself, I learned so much, whether it be of God or whether it be of these simple workouts where I call them HIIT workouts, whether it be the training I'm doing in the gym, the evolution of myself as a man, these certain things are everyday processes of learning. And if I don't learn them correctly, if I don't relearn the things that I think I know or unlearn the things that I think is correct, I'm going to continuously fail myself. There's no way I'm going to be the best version of myself if I think everything I'm doing is correct. I'm always doing the right thing. Hell no. I have to learn what's right with God. I have to learn what's righteous with God. That ain't always going to be what I think it is. So as an adult, I think the biggest feat, the biggest growth part of being an adult is being accountable. I hold myself accountable for everything that I do, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's good or bad. I hold myself accountable because I'm a man. I'm a grown man who sometimes makes mistakes, who sometimes doesn't show up, who sometimes doesn't love himself. And as a better man, I have to continuously love myself more. I have to show up for myself every day. And that's not always easy. So sometimes I have to sit back. I have to recalibrate. I have to redo some things. And that ain't always fun. But I do it with God, knowing that He's on my side. Growth starts within is a process in which you have to actually take detailed looks of yourself, analyze yourself deeply to the depths of your own dismay. You have to know your faults. You have to know your struggles, and you have to hold yourself accountable for those things. It ain't easy saying, hey, I was wrong, or hey, I messed up. But it's important to understand in your life where you are failing yourself and how you can do better. Growth starts within isn't just a thought or a mindset. It's an action that I choose to do daily. Growth starts within started way back when I was 18. Turning 19, I wanted to grow. I wanted to be better. So I started looking at myself. I started looking within. And now that I'm 25, I've looked within so much that it's an everyday process. I can't grow today if I didn't look within. I can't grow tomorrow if I didn't look within. So growth starts within, and I hope that you continue to grow.